Today I wanted to share with you kind of like a case study of one of my projects. I wanted to show you kind of like the entire process from the first phone call to pre-production, production, and post-production, just so you can see and have an idea of kind of how I work with my clients and kind of what I bring to the table. And so this is a project from the Cosmopolitan Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It's a few years old. It's not something recent, but it's a great example. So let me show you a little bit of the video and then we can jump right in. So the Cosmopolitan initially called me to ask to create a training video, but really, literally what they said to me was, we're the Cosmopolitan. We don't want a training video. And so what they were saying is, we want a training video that represent who we are, that follows the brand, that continue that messaging of who the Cosmopolitan is, even though this was for internal purpose. And so what I did is I went online and kind of refresh my memory of all their messaging, all the brand messaging that they've had out there. So I watched a lot of TV commercials, and that was the time where they were doing all their campaigns on the Cosmopolitan was the right amount of wrong. And so I wanted to use all those commercials as inspiration so that I could pitch something to them that would make sense. And one commercial I remember watching really stood out to me because they threw away kind of like all the rules of design. They had this thing where every word that was projected on the screen was of different color, different font, different size. And again, that's kind of unusual. Typically in design, you stick to a specific font, a specific color, a specific size. And so they kind of tossed that out, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this could really work with the training that they wanted to do. And so eventually, we met again, and that's when I pitched this concept of, can we show a couple enjoying a suite at the Cosmopolitan and then rewind to the process of getting that suite ready by the housekeeping team before the couple arrives. And they really liked it. They thought that was a great way of doing it, because then it gave them the freedom to kind of show the edge and the sexiness in the beginning by having this couple kind of enjoying the suite, and then transition to the actual portion that they wanted to, which was the training. There was really one shot that they wanted, which was a sunset shot of the couple on the balcony looking over the Bellagio's fountain. And so basically we worked the schedule backward from that point. So we find out, okay, sunset is at whatever, like 6 p.m. or 6:30. We need, 20 minutes to set up for that shot. And so we need to be ready, we need to be on the balcony at 6 p.m. to be ready to shoot at 6:30 at sunset or whatever. And so we kind of worked the schedule backward, and I don't remember exactly, but I think we started production like at 3 p.m. Or maybe 2 p.m. or something like that. And we shot until 9 p.m. The casino is in full swing. Wherever I went was okay with them, but they were not going to stop customers or cars or people playing or anything. So we had to be pretty nimble, pretty quick, and try to be as non-intrusive as possible, especially because I didn't want people to be staring at the camera. And so this was shot actually with a really small setup. This is a little older. So this is the Sony FS700 on a Ronin 1, the first really big Ronin. And I did those shots, like the car and them walking through the lobby. Those were the first things we did, and kind of got those out of the way before we went up to the suite. And I really didn't have too much of a concept of how I wanted to do the move. I just asked the driver to come straight at me, and I would move away from, like I would move around, but for him to just keep coming and trust that I would get out of the way. And I've always enjoyed using the Ronin or any gimbal in a way that kind of goes over certain elements just to kind of bring depth into the shots. And so I started, like the car started coming, and he was coming really slow, but I started going towards the car with the camera really, really low. And as the car came close, then I raised the camera to kind of have the hood go under the camera. And I found myself just going back down right where that headlight was without really thinking about it. And then when I saw it in the viewfinder, I was like, wow, this is perfect as far as using that light and the effect that it was giving me. So I believe that was shot with the 14mm lens. And so I think I did that twice, maybe 3 times. It was shot in slow motion at 240 frames per second. And I just did that move. I think I did a couple of other moves after that to try something different, but I knew from the very first movement that was the move that I wanted. And so that was great. And then we just had the car pulled to the side, just got a really quick shot of the lady's feet coming out of the car. Same thing, kept the Ronin really low, followed her a little bit. And then we did the walking through the lobby. And I think we did that one just twice. You can see there's a couple people staring at the camera. We try to find breaks in the flow of people where we could have a kind of like an open lobby area. And then I'm really tall, so I know people have said, oh, you're on the jib, and I'm not. It's literally just me on the Ronin, but I'm 6'8", and then I raise my hand and I'm almost at 9 feet. So it just worked out really well that way. Same thing, it was shot at 240 frames per second. And I don't believe I knew that I wanted to like ramp up the speed at that point. Like when I pitched the project, I don't believe I had that vision of wanting to change speed throughout the video. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But and so those were the first 2 shots. And after that, we just went up to the suite. And it, at that point, it was fairly simple, pretty small space, but I needed like 3 or 4 shots of the couple getting ready to enjoy a glass of wine, being on the balcony for the sunset, getting into a bathtub. The shot of the towel in the hallway, I really don't like. I didn't like the lighting. I didn't have any control over anything. And that's a shot that they added on the spot, that they were like, oh, we need to show that. I didn't have a lot of options, and it just ended up being a really flat, not very exciting shot, but that's okay. And then I was done with the 2 actors, and then I had 2 housekeepers. We went through their normal routine of like, okay, what do you typically do? And they have a very strict flow that they follow, and that was the training, right? Like they wanted to show, they call them loop, and you see in the video that I use the same term. So it shows loop 1, here's what you do, loop 2, here's what you do. And they had some very specific shots or very specific things that needed to get done outside of the loop. Like for example, like the shot of the housekeeper like turning the remote. Those are intentional, like that. Those are the things that make the Cosmo is those items have to be in very specific position in the room when you come in. And so it was important for us to show all those small details. And so we used that rotation movement on all those close-ups. We were either on the gimbal or on the track. I had a small manual track. And then the post-production process started. And I think what happened, and it doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes it does, where pretty early on, especially with a project like that, I need to identify the soundtrack because that's kind of going to give me the rhythm of the edits. And so, it's that long process of going through songs after songs to kind of see what hit. And then I don't remember where I found it, but this, I listened to this song and I was like, this is it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced the same thing where you found the right song and you know right away, like that's the right song. So then it was really starting to build that first sequence based on that music, and realizing that a lot of those movements, especially when they're shot at 240 frames, are very long. Like that move across the car with the gimbal is very long. The ramping of the speed kind of played with that edge that the Cosmopolitan wanted to portray. We see her in slow motion, like we see her foot in slow motion coming out of the car. But as soon as that foot hit the ground, boom, it goes in accelerated motion for two things. One, to speed up the move and the shot, but to also keep up with the song, and then to add to the feel and the identity and the brand that the Cosmopolitan wanted to portray. And then using the fonts, colors, and size of the text for all the call of action that they wanted. All those were built on the beat of that particular song. And so it was a lot of work. I mean, it was tedious to hit all those beats. Hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that encourages you to continue to build yourself as an expert in your field, so that you can express and talk to your clients in a way that make them feel comfortable as far as your level of expertise, knowing that they hire the right person, that you can deliver on the promise and on the expectation that they have. I think that's always been part of the success for me. It's to find ways to add value to my clients beyond just what they pay for. And so I would encourage you to continue to grow, continue to become experts in your field, so that your clients feel comfortable hiring you for project after projects. They know that they're going to get more than what they pay for. And so that's kind of how I've run my business over the years. And so far it's been working. So anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. If you're interested, you can download my free camera setting cheat sheet. It's down below in the comment section or in the description. And I'll talk to you soon. Happy filming.